Hola. Hi, dudes. Here are cores. Okay. Cool. Hello. Alright, let's see if people... That looks okay. Cool. I'm gonna get situated while you all are joining. Hello, welcome, happy Monday. Got drinks. Hey guys. Thank you for joining. Hello, how are you all? Happy Monday. I'll get started in just a minute. I'm just letting people join. Hello. I was thinking it was going to be a slow news day to... I already can't speak. I was thinking it was going to be a slow news day today, and it is not. I wasn't even going to talk about this, and then all of a sudden there's breaking news. All right. Hey, guys. How are you? Thank you for joining. Just letting people pop in. Trying to open this water bottle. That's not working. Yeah, that's crazy. We still don't know a whole lot yet, but I will tell you what we do know. They came, they saw, they left with nothing. I don't even know what they were looking for. I'm staying. I keep getting new... Okay. I have one little update. All right, guys. We have a few people here. I'll go ahead and get started. We'll right off the bat. So, Trump, what had happened was... All right, so Mar-a-Lago was just raided. Trump released a statement around 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So let's look at what happened and what Trump said. I have this small bit of an update, but I don't know if it's much. Okay, so former President Trump on Monday said that his Mar-a-Lago home in Florida is under siege by a large group of FBI agents. Nothing like this has ever happened to a president of the United States before, he said. So this is an official statement by Donald Trump. After working and cooperating with the relevant government agencies, this unannounced raid on my home was not necessary or appropriate, Trump said. It is prosecutorial misconduct, the weaponization of the justice system, and an attack by the radical left Democrats who desperately don't want me to run for president in 2024, especially based on recent polls, and who will likewise do anything to stop Republicans and conservatives in the upcoming midterm elections. He goes on to say, such an assault could only take place in broken third world countries. Sadly, America has now become one of those countries, corrupt at a level not seen before. Trump said, alleging the FBI agents broke into his safe. What is the difference between this and Watergate, where operatives broke into the Democrat National Committee? Here, in reverse, Democrats broke into the home of the 45th President of the United States. Trump was in New York City when the raid was carried out. Fox News has learned an FBI source confirmed that FBI agents from Washington, D.C., who were on the Bureau's evidence response team, conducted the raid and notified the Miami field office just before. The Justice Department has been investigating the discovery of boxes of records containing classified information that were taken to Mar-a-Lago after Trump's presidency concluded. That matter was referred to the Justice Department by the National Archives and Records Administration, which said it found classified material in 15 boxes at the residence. Federal law bars the removal of classified documents to unauthorized locations, though it is possible that Trump could try to argue that, as president, he was the ultimate declassification authority. It's not clear whether the FBI search was connected to that probe. A separate investigation into efforts by Trump allies undo the results of the 2020 presidential election and the January 6, 2021 riot at the U.S. Capitol has intensified in Washington in recent weeks, particularly with the J6 Congressional Committee holding hearings to reveal its findings. And then I'm also seeing this took place today. CBS News confirms the search warrant is related to missing classified documents. It is not related to the January 6th investigation. Okay, so it seems like they are looking for some sort of missing documents. And according to Fox, they apparently did find some classified information in about 15 boxes. But whether that's what they were looking for or not, or whether that actually is deemed classified, will still be found out, because just like the article says, they're calling it classified information, but the president also does have the authority to declassify information. So I don't know how that's going to work out. I'll see if there's any more updates. So it's definitely not, I will say, according to CBS, it's not connected to the January 6th investigation. I think Trump's the judge of classification. So, everything they're accused, the family, what? Here, hold on.
Charged, search warrants, investigations.
Yeah, I think that's about all we know so far. It's funny because I do keep seeing, and it actually is true, like, the Biden, MSNBC must be excited. I want to know what they found. Wait, what's going on? Hold on. The FBI immediately leaked the details of the raid to the New York Times. But yeah, it's not political. Let's see if there's anything in the New York Times. The New York. Okay. No, raid. But let's see. I did. Yeah, that also happened. Brian Stelter basically did a 180 on the Hunter Biden laptop. So Brian Stelter, I can't remember, was he on MSNBC? I don't know what he was on, but he was on television today, a big network, and he basically admitted that the Hunter Biden laptop is not a right-wing conspiracy. In fact, it's very real, and it should be looked into. Really interesting for Brian Stelter. All right, so this is what the New York Times says. Let's see. Former President Donald Trump said on Monday the FBI had searched his Palm Beach, Florida home and had broken open a safe, an account that, if accurate, would be a dramatic escalation in the various investigations into the former president. The search, according to two people familiar with the investigation, appeared to be focused on material that Mr. Trump had brought with him to Mar-a-Lago, his private club and residence, after he left the White House. Those boxes contained many pages of classified documents, according to a person familiar with their contents. Mr. Trump delayed returning 15 boxes of material requested by officials. Okay, this is interesting. So Mr. Trump delayed returning 15 boxes of material requested by officials with the National Archives for many months, only doing so when there became a threat of action being taken to retrieve them. Mr. Trump was known throughout his term to rip up official material that was intended to be held for government archives. After working and cooperating with the relevant government agencies, its unannounced raid on my home was not necessary or appropriate, Mr. Trump said, maintaining it was an effort to stop him from running for president in 2024. Such an assault could only take place in broken third world countries. They even broke into my safe, he wrote. What is the difference between this and Watergate, where operatives broke into the Democrat National Committee? Here, in reverse, Democrats broke into the home of the 45th President of the United States. Mr. Trump did not share any of the details about what the FBI agents said they were searching for, but he depicted himself as a victim of shadowy forces seeking to damage him. The search took place on Monday morning. A person familiar with it said, although Mr. Trump claimed agents were still there many hours later, the search was at least in part for whether any records remained at the club. The person familiar with the search said. The reported search came at a time when the Justice Department has also been stepping up questioning of former Trump aides who had been witnesses to discussion and planning in the White House of Mr. Trump's efforts to remain in office after his loss in the 2020 election. Mr. Trump has been the focus of questions with a scheme to send fake electors to Congress for the certification of the Electoral College. These are dark times for our nation, Trump said, as my beautiful home, Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach, Florida, is currently under siege, raided, and occupied by a large group of FBI agents. Cool. He goes on to say nothing like this has ever happened to the President of the United States before. All right, well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I just find it so interesting that they're really concerned with all these classified documents. Buttermilk biscuits. Hello. Isn't this sort of like, if that's what they were really looking for, all of these classified documents, isn't that sort of the same thing as Hillary Clinton's email server? I guess it's not, because she wasn't the president, but she had a lot of classified stuff on her private server, which she wasn't supposed to have. Interesting. This is what Candace Owens said. The FBI must be legally and formally dissolved. What happened to President Donald Trump is positively stunning and a mark of unchecked government power. I no longer recognize the country I live in, left or right. We must all come together and fight this evil. It is pretty scary. I mean, all right, let's hear who is this? This is Newsmax? Wait, she works for Newsmax? Hold on. See what they're saying. Greta Van Susteren? Is that how you... I didn't know she worked for Newsmax. Or is she just on? I don't know. I want this to play. So when will the FBI raid the homes of Biden, Pelosi, and Clinton? That's what I would like to know. I feel like there's probably a lot more skeletons hiding in their homes somewhere. Okay. Is it going?
We have breaking news. This is a statement from former President Donald Trump. These are dark times for our nation as my beautiful home, Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach, Florida, is currently under siege, raided and occupied by a large group of FBI agents. Nothing like this has ever happened to a president of the United States before. After working and cooperating with the relevant government agencies, this unannounced raid on my home was not necessary or appropriate. It is prosecutorial misconduct, the weaponization of the justice system, and an attack by radical left Democrats who desperately don't want me to run for president in 2024, especially based on recent polls, and who will likewise do anything to stop Republicans and conservatives in the upcoming midterm elections. Such an assault could only take place in broken third world countries. Sadly, America has now become one of those countries, corrupt at a level not seen before. They even broke into my safe. What is the difference between this and Watergate, where operatives broke into the Democratic National Committee? Here in reverse, Democrats broke into the home of the 45th President of the United States. The political persecution of President Donald J. Trump has been going on for years with the now fully debunked Russia scam. Impeachment hoax number one, impeachment hoax number two, and so much more. It just never ends. It is political targeting at the highest level. Hillary Clinton was allowed to delete and acid wash 33,000 emails after they were subpoenaed by Congress. Absolutely nothing has happened to hold her accountable. She even took antique furniture and other items from the White House. I stood up America's bureaucratic corruption. I restored power to the people and truly delivered for our country like we have never seen before. The establishment hated it. Now, as they watch my endorsed candidates win big victories and see my dominance in all polls, they are trying to stop me and the Republican Party once more. The lawlessness, political persecution, and witch hunt must be exposed and stopped. I will continue to fight for the great American people. Now, that statement, that breaking news statement, was the first time I saw, was just when I read it right now. That's from the former president of the United States, Donald Trump. A shocking statement to see. Obviously, that there's an ongoing raid that's going on. We have very little information about it other than the statement that he put out that Mar-a-Lago is currently being raided by the FBI.
It's wild. Like, think about all the stuff that we know about the Bidens, the Pelosi's, and the Clintons. Like, so much stuff that has never been investigated. Hunter Biden's laptop, and it's so funny that this happened on the same day that Brian Stelter is now saying that the Hunter Biden laptop is not a right-wing conspiracy theory. It's real, and that has never investigated. And look, I wouldn't care about the Hunter Biden laptop if it was just Hunter Biden being a weirdo. We know that. We know he's done some really awful things. You know, we know he likes the ladies of the night, and we know that he likes the white powder and all those other things. We know that. If it was just one son that was just a loose cannon or had a lot of issues, that happens in families, and you shouldn't hold the entire family accountable. But what was in that laptop are dealings with Hunter Biden and Joe Biden and all sorts of things that you're not supposed to be doing. That's where I worry. There was corruption in there, and that has never been investigated by anyone. Not the DOJ or anyone. It's just shoved under the rug. And Greta was right. It was Russia collusion. It was just one thing after the other. I highly, highly, highly recommend. And, you know, a lot of people still criticize Donald Trump for not getting as much done when he was first in office. There is a movie out. I think you can still rent it on Amazon Prime. It's called The Plot Against the President. If you want to know what Trump was dealing with behind closed doors in the White House for 4 years, how many times they tried to go after him, they tried to go after his sons, they tried to go after so much stuff. He was dealing with so much. And there were also Republicans. They're right when they state the establishment. Donald Trump is right when he says the establishment, because there were Republicans that didn't want him in office. There were Republicans that tried to get in his way and make it so that he wasn't successful. It was really him against the establishment. I call them establishment Republicans or rhinos or whatever. But he dealt with a lot. So I don't really blame him for not getting as much done. He still got a lot more done than many other presidents we've had, but I don't blame him as not getting so much done in the beginning, because so much was against him. Even Republicans were against him, and they didn't want him to win, and they didn't want him to be successful once he was in the White House. But yeah, I mean, she's right. This literally, like, right before I went live, all of this information came out. So we'll probably be learning, hopefully, a lot more. Brian Kilmeade just spoke to Eric Trump. Nothing in the safe. FBI agents, 30 approximately, raided on behalf of the National Archives. This is outrageous. Has to come from POTUS and or someone in the White House. That was Brian Kilmeade with Fox News. Okay, someone else. I'm listening. I'm like trying to look at all of the takes right here. Just like they rated James O'Keefe. Oh yes, they did. I forgot about that. Project Veritas, James O'Keefe. The FBI raided his home. Glenn said it's interesting this raid happens after President Trump wins the straw man poll. Yeah. Was that Turning Point was that Turning Point or CPAC? Okay, here's another take. Also, I mean, Trump is right. I will say a lot of the Trump endorsed candidates have been doing really, really well with the. Okay, so here's another take from a very smart lawyer friend. There must be something about the contents of classified documents and something Trump said that would support probable cause. To get a warrant, they have to convince a judge there's a crime. Apart from that, negation's over. Presidential records. Interesting. Someone said, has every GOP elected leader denounced the raid on Mar-a-Lago yet? We're watching and keeping receipts. Lauren Boebert said, if you are a Republican with any kind of voice and not speaking up for President Trump tonight, don't expect any of us to speak up for you when your time comes. You may not realize it yet, but they are coming for all of us. South Dakota governor on Trump's raid. Okay, so this is Noam, the governor of South Dakota. I want to see what she has to say. I actually like her. This happened today? Yes, this happened today. Why can't I get the whole thing? Haven't watched any news. Okay. Today, following the FBI raid on former President Donald J. Trump home, Governor Kristi Noem issued the following statement. The FBI raid on President Donald Trump's home is an unprecedented political weaponization of the Justice Department. They have been after President Trump as a candidate, as president, and now as former president. Using the criminal justice system in this manner is un-American. Interesting. Okay, I'll keep looking for updates as we move along just a little bit. Now they're going to go after her. Yeah. Basically just anyone. I was talking to someone and they would like, I would love to see Trump on the presidential ticket and then Kristi Noem as vice president. I was like, I don't know. I think it's going to depend. It's going to be, is it going to be Trump? Is it going to be Ron DeSantis? I have no idea. I think it's kind of a toss-up right now. White House is saying they didn't know Trump's home was going to be raided. They also said that's a big load of bullshit. That they didn't know it was going to be raided. Facts by Kristi Noem. Yes, I like her. I think she's pretty tough. I'd like the idea of Trump if he had a female VP. I actually would too. I never even thought about Kristi Noem being on the ticket as vice president, and maybe it wouldn't be her, but you think about it, I think I do like the idea of Donald Trump having a female VP, especially someone so tough like her. Trump and DeSantis, Giuliani as AG. Did I just swear? Did I swear? I must have done it so fast I didn't even notice. Oops. I did it so fast, I didn't even notice I did it. Oh, darn. Don't tell me what I said. I said B. Oh, I said BS. No nails they have put in the coffin. Yeah, because right now, the timing of this is so bad. So they just passed that in the Inflation Reduction Act, which doesn't really reduce inflation at all. And someone even said, well, this was Marco Rubio. After today's raid on Mar-a-Lago, what do you think the left's plans to use those 87,000 IRS agents for? Exactly. This is coming the same day that the Inflation Reduction Act is giving us 87,000. We're not protecting our border. We're weaponizing the FBI on former presidents, and we're adding 87,000 FBI workers. Hold on, let's see. I got super chat from Fun P. Thank you. Okay, Fun P. Sarah, appreciate your shows. I'm not a right-winger, but I appreciate you not dehumanizing the left too much. Thank you. I try not to. Thank you very much, Fun P. I appreciate that super chat and appreciate the support. Thank you. No, I try to be nice. I was a lefty once. Oh, Lance is here. Very good. Uh-oh. Can't wait to see the DeSantis action on Mar-a-Lago. He'll drop the hammer down on this one. Okay, this is true. Thank you so much. Will you marry me and live in Mexico? Do you live in Mexico City? I actually heard that Mexico is very nice. Well, Mexico City apparently has a problem with Californians. No, oh, and you're in Monterey. Was there a turning point when you decided to become a Republican or independent? Oh, yes. I would actually say, and what I say, I think you should be yourself first, and then whatever your political affiliation should be way down the line, because there are some Democrats that I would vote for over a Republican. And I have principles. So wherever that lines up with, that's where I'm going to vote. That could be Republican, Independent, Democrat. And a lot of people say the Democratic Party left me. I didn't leave it. So I really started changing the seeds for me to turn from very liberal to voting Republican for the first time. A lot of those seeds were planted. I used to work in psychiatric hospitals. So I worked for the government on a state and city level. I worked for the state of Virginia a long time ago. I worked for the city of Denver, Colorado. And then I was doing acting out in California. But the seeds were planted when I worked for the government. I worked for kids. I worked in the projects. I worked for a lot of people that were on welfare, a lot of people who were in the welfare system, in and out of it, in and out of jail, all of that stuff. And so a lot of seeds were planted along the way. I remember when Ferguson happened, that really changed my view a lot. That was when we were sort of introduced to Black Lives Matter. And a lot of the things they were saying, I was working with at-risk teenagers at the time in Denver, Colorado, in the projects. And when I was hearing the things that Black Lives Matter was saying, like all cops are bad and cops are against you, like I worked with the type of kids that would probably have an interaction with cops and they would probably be combative. Those were the teenagers that I worked with. They had a lot of behavioral issues, and I would just never tell them that the cops were out to get them. I would never tell them that all cops are bad. What I tried to do is teach them how to get their needs met in a socially appropriate way, and I taught them how to get their feelings across in a way that wasn't combative with people. So it was along those ways. But what really did it was when I lived in I moved to Los Angeles. I lived there right before the 2016 election, and I actually didn't even vote in that election. I wasn't even paying attention that much. I had just moved to Los Angeles. I was auditioning a lot. I was working part time. I was in a bunch of acting classes. So I was just in a whole different world. And at that time, I was so done with politicians. I just thought they were all corrupt. I was really disappointed by Obama. Really disappointed. I voted for him both terms and was really disappointed in how he ran the country and some of the things that he said. So, and after 2016, when I saw the reaction, I wouldn't have voted for Trump. I would have voted for Hillary. But when I saw the reaction, and the only coverage of Trump that I saw where sometimes I would flip on CNN and I would watch, and I thought, okay, he's this silly man. There's no way he's going to be the president. And then I watched him win, and I was like, okay, maybe this is a little interesting. I would like to see what he does. He's not a politician. I would like to give this man a chance. It would be nice to have someone different in the White House. Let's see what this person does. What's the worst that can happen, right? And I saw the crazy reaction by a lot of people, like people that I knew, like friends of mine that were calling him a dictator and a Nazi and a white supremacist. And I was like, whoa, okay, he's kind of a silly man. Yes, he has a bit of a mouth on him, but I really don't think he's all of those things. And I wanted to know where all this anger and hysteria was coming from. So I just started researching and going down all these rabbit holes. And it was like I kept uncovering all of these things that were just outright lies, and I couldn't believe it. One of the first things was the kids in the cages. They lied about that. Those pictures of the kids in the cages were from 2014. They were under the Obama administration, and Glenn Beck was on the border in 2014, and so were other journalists. And they tried to get everyone to pick up this story about what was happening on the border, and nobody would pick it up. All of a sudden, Trump's in office. Now they use those pictures and try to make it seem like he's the one that's doing that. So that was one. The Charlottesville hoax was another one. It was just all these lies. And what I noticed was that when I actually took what they were talking about and I went to the source, whether it was the actual speech or the actual bill or the actual photos, when you actually went to the source of where these things were coming from, you realize, wow, they are lying to us. They're just banking on the fact that most people actually don't really research. They just listen to what political pundits tell them and just believe whatever is told to them without looking or questioning or anything. So it was really all of that. It was living in an area that is as liberal as it gets and not feeling safe in my own area anymore. It's seeing the lies on TV and then looking just what people stand for. It was, watching Democrats excuse the rioting all summer long and then be appalled by January 6th, which all of us were appalled by January 6th. But I'm appalled by all violence, not just some violence. Like, I'm appalled by all rioting, not just some rioting. And I also know that there's nuance to each situation. There was nuance to the Black Lives Matter protest. There were people there that were not doing anything wrong. They went and protested and then went home. And in January 6th, there were people that just kind of wandered in and didn't know what was happening. Let's see. There's a super chat from Wall Street Tech. Thank you so much. Echo, echo, echo. This is much more fun than the needles and doo-doo report. What? Okay, thank you. I don't exactly know what that means, but thank you very much for the super chat. Laura said some of the things in the boxes were newspaper clippings, etc. Yeah, like I want to know what was specifically in those boxes that they wanted. I'm sure we'll find out more. So we have someone saying that it's just that Laura Trump was saying that some of it's just like newspaper clippings and stuff. I don't know what they're doing. But right now, I feel like this administration is doing so bad. I don't think this is going to help them at this time. Maybe if they would have done this a year ago, maybe it actually would have helped them. But I think a lot of Democrats right now and a lot of people that even voted for Biden and probably didn't even like Donald Trump are so frustrated with the Biden administration. I would be really interested to see how this is going to play out for them, because everything that they're pulling out of their bag of tricks they thought was going to work isn't really working. Needles and Juju are playing the Lizard Lounge this Friday. Needles and Doo-Doo are playing the Lizard Lounge this Friday. What? Where's the Lizard Lounge? Okay, this is Steve Bannon on the FBI raid. They are absolutely petrified Trump is going to announce in a couple of weeks. Okay, so Bannon is saying that they're really scared that Trump is going to be formally announcing he's running for president. That's what I'm getting out of that. Hi, Danielle. How are you? So that's what we know so far. Where is the raid on Hunter's house? Exactly. I could almost, like, if they really thought he took classified information, like, okay, maybe, I don't know. But knowing everything we know about Hunter Biden, about Joe Biden, about the Clintons, about so many other corrupt individuals that have so much more that could be uncovered, and that this is what the FBI is focusing on. That just shows you how incredibly corrupt and partisan they are. But we already knew that, didn't we not? Is Trump going back on 2024? He's too... I don't know. This is why Trump 24, or better yet, bring him. I don't know. He's been hinting that he plans... So this is what's happening. He's been hinting... First of all, Trump has been doing rallies, a lot of rallies. He just had one in Waukesha weekend. Hello. He's been having a lot of rallies. They've been very successful. A lot of his candidates that he endorsed and he backed were doing very well in their primaries. So maybe they're scared. That's what Steve Bannon is saying. I did want to update you guys. Do you remember? I'm just going to jump a little bit, but I'm still going to be looking at Trump stuff. So if there's updates while we're here together, I will let you know about the FBI raid. But I wanted to update you on this story. We talked about it the other day. I think we were talking about this on Friday, about this terrible accident that happened in Los Angeles at an intersection where 6 people were killed. One was a pregnant mom, there was a little baby, but 6 people killed. There was a driver going over 100 miles an hour, ran a red light in an intersection in the middle of the day, 1:30 p.m., and killed 6 people. And what I learned, the pregnant lady, I believe she was with her boyfriend or husband at the time, and they were actually on their way to get, I think, a sonogram for a baby appointment. And so they know who this woman is now, and she's been charged. So 37-year-old Nicole Linton, suspected driver in Thursday's deadly crash, was released from the hospital and is now being held on $2 million bail. Los Angeles District Attorney George Gascon could file charges as early as Monday. Linton is a registered nurse, reportedly from Houston, who had been working at an LA Kaiser. So here's an update. Nicole is now being held on $9 million bail at the Regional Detention Center, according to jail records. Nicole Linton, she was in court when George Gascon announces the traveling nurse will be charged with 6 counts of murder plus 5 counts of gross vehicular manslaughter. Linton cried periodically throughout. Her left arm was wrapped in a brace. She faces up to 90 years in prison. Good. Throw her the book. Apparently, she was drunk, too. Drunk driving, going over 100 miles an hour in a very busy area in the middle of the day. I hope they throw everything at her. "90 years to life." She's a traveling nurse. I don't know if she broke anything, but you can see that she has. I mean, her life is pretty much over. Going that fast. Apply brakes. I don't know what happened, and I don't know how you could possibly. I made the joke on here. Day drinking. It could have been too. She could have been drunk from the night before and then maybe started drinking again. I don't know how you get that drunk at 1:30 p.m. So maybe it was like the night before and then to go that fast. I don't know, like there are times where I've had 2 drinks over a long period of time and I drive home, but I'm well under the legal limit. This is like eating and drinking water and knowing my tolerance, knowing the legal limit, knowing what I can do, and I go so slow. I'm so hyper aware. I go so slow. To think that you can be that out of it and going 100 miles per hour. What in the heck were you doing? Drunk at 90, no brakes, no brains, no license, no real punishment, I bet. I hope she gets punished. I mean, this is George Gascon we're talking about, but this was so high profile that I think he had no choice but to throw the book at her. Especially when there was one baby, and well, there were 2 babies. One was unborn and one was a born baby. All babies want to get born. She probably fell on the accelerator pedal. It's Callie. Nothing substantial will happen. Oh, wait. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I don't know if I want to read this. This might... Okay. We're gonna read it together. Okay, the LA County Register... Speaking of George Gascon, the LA County Register recorder in charge of counting the petition to recall. Okay, so remember, George Gascon also has a recall effort, and right now they got enough signatures to kick off a recall election, but they have to verify all those signatures with the county register, so that's what they're doing right now. So right now, all of those signatures are being held at the county register, and they're counting them. They have over 200,000 votes over what they need, but they wanted to do that to give a cushion to make sure that they have enough valid signatures. Valid signatures meaning you're a registered voter within Los Angeles County, your name matches your address, all of that stuff. Okay, so this is the update with that. I was scared to read it because I thought it was going to be bad news. I don't know. Okay. The LA County Register recorder in charge of counting the petitions to recall Los Angeles District Attorney George Gascon tweets this hours after the campaign to recall Gascon accused the Register of using illegal and outdated standards to make it easier to throw out recall petitions. Subtweet? Uh-oh. Hello? Okay, here's the Washington Examiner. George Soros. Yes, George Soros did confirm that he's behind all of these prosecutors. It also came out that saying this is what are they talking about? So they're also now, I think it was Jerry Nadler that tweeted this out. They're accusing people of, when you say Soros-backed prosecutor, they're saying now that is a form of anti-Semitism. To say Soros-backed prosecutor is anti-Semitism because Soros happens to be Jewish. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So that's the thing that's going around right now. It's anti-Semitic to say Soros-backed prosecutor, even though Soros basically said, yeah, I backed all these prosecutors. Because he happens to be Jewish, that is now anti-Semitic. Even though the Republican Party fully supports Israel. All Republicans stand behind Israel, yet one man who loves to put money behind prosecutors who are very soft on crime, yet you call out his actions, and now that's anti-Semitic. Okay. District Attorney George Gascon's recall is being undermined by Los Angeles County officials who are not following the law, giving the prosecutor an edge. A campaign to unseat him explosively claims the Register Recorder's office is using illegal standards to verify and count recall petition signatures, increasing the odds that the vote will be thrown out. The campaign claims volunteers delivered 717,000 signatures to the register, which is 150 more than required. A random sampling showed 22% were invalid, but the campaign doesn't buy it. The committee has grave concerns that the Los Angeles County Register Recorder's Office did not use current laws and uniform guidelines set forth in Election Code and California Code of Regulations. When it examined signatures during the random sampling of the recall petition filed with it on July 6, 2022, it is believed they are not going to. So now, as it continues to conduct its full examination review of every signature, the campaign asked the county to divulge in its standards for verifying signatures and was given a training manual written by a forensic analyst from 2015. State law changed in 2020 to make it easier for county officials to declare that a signature is valid. The standard now is to presume the signature is correct unless it looks substantially different. At that point, 2 additional officials must unanimously agree that it is invalid. When the law changed in the 2020 election, the number of rejected ballots decreased by 83%, said the former district attorney Steve Cooley, who is one of the lead campaign organizers. Something is not adding up. Almost everything is not adding up. The campaign wanted to send monitors to watch the signature verification process, but this was denied by the county on the grounds that the recall effort is not an election. However, on election day, voters who seek to recall Gascon will be asked to pick a successor from a list of names, thereby electing someone the campaign says in dispute. The county's failure to follow current law and uniform guidelines is the examination of what is a random sampling is a violation of the rights of every Los Angeles County voter who signed their name to a recall petition to a fair, lawful, and appropriate signature verification. Okay, so we'll see what happens with that. I hope it ends up good. I'm staying optimistic about that. I really do. San Francisco gave me a little bit of hope. We'll see. So with the driver, the Nicole Linton, the nurse who crashed in the intersection on La Brea, she was requesting a $300,000 bail. Her attorney was, and that was denied. So, good. All right, you all. Well, I think there's no hope for CA. I know, that's what everyone says. We'll see, we'll see. All right, you all. Thank you so much for joining. I will be back tomorrow at 2 p.m. I'll be on for a little bit longer. And then Wednesday, I'll probably live stream again in the PM, but I'll announce it. Yes, please give the thumbs up if you can before you go. Thank you, everyone, again for watching. I really appreciate it. There's no hope for Washington. There's no hope for anything. It's all screwed. Just kidding. All right. Thank you guys. I had a really good time with you and have a safe night. No drinking and driving. Just do it at home. Drink at home. It's cheaper. All right. Bye, guys.